everybody, Anna Sabramowitz here, your interactive storytelling coach. How are you? Hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you for tuning in. It's awesome to have you here. Okay, what am I going to talk about today? Something fabulous, all right? I had some great conversations yesterday, some awesome strategy sessions with some wonderful humans. Elena, you know you're one of them. And yesterday I learned a couple of things, and I'm thinking that I'm always talking about things that we need to unlearn in instructional design. We need to learn in L&D because we're carrying over old, in many ways, old academic paradigms that don't work for adult learners in a workforce, and also completely ignore the fact that we are emotional creatures and we need to actually connect with things emotionally to take action on them, and that our actions are driven 1000% by emotions. And in order for us to move people to behavior change, you got to engage them emotionally. And we kind of just skip that in instructional design. Emotions not even mentioned. I remember when I did my awesome adult certification, it was an awesome experience. We kind of glossed over, we said you can, the knowledge, skills, and attitude. And we were always told, hey, you can get people's knowledge and skills. You can tap into that. You can, influence that. But attitude, ignore that. That's on them, right? And I always believed this. And so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about a strategy that, I think will be helpful to you, because I think that a lot of us wait for permission from other authorities to give us permission to try new things or to experiment or to model. All right, so if that sounds interesting, if you're in for this high energy rant that I have on today, then that's awesome. I'm just going to bring up my feed to see where you guys are at. Hope you're saying hello. I really enjoy when you guys are here. Sometimes I don't catch your comments right away when you say them. Forgive me for that. I really do check them out, and I do love that you guys are showing up live. So it's wonderful. So if you're here, you better say hello. All right. So, by the way, I talk about interactive storytelling here, and I give you tiny little bits at a time, because seriously, it's like, you only have so much time. You're watching a live session for something dedicated from soup to nuts, how they say in some southern states, soup to nuts, development of an interactive story, and where you can use one and examples. Go to elearningsecrets.com. I've got an on-demand webinar there. Now, this is the other thing that's happening. When you sign up for that webinar, you also get on my mailing list. When you get on my mailing list, not only do you get like a story in your inbox every day, you get some of this quirky stuff, but my reflections, my thoughts. Also, I share some great links. Also, I share student successes. It's just getting started, so, bear with me, but it's fun. Some people are like, Anna, I don't think, this is weird. It's like you're telling me stories in the email. Where's the bullet point of like actions? And I'm like, there's enough people doing that already. One of the things I want to do is really connect you through to the storytelling piece so that you start getting comfortable talking in these ways. Talking in these ways helps people not only understand what you're, trying to convey, but also emotionally connects with them so that they can later rationalize and buy into what you're trying to do, right? So really, it's all about persuasion, guys. So jump on that list so I can persuade you, okay? All right. Okay. So, first off, a little story about me. This is all storytelling, baby. All storytelling. Oh, Enrico, hi there. I don't know why it's not loading. Let me see what's happening here. Hold on a sec. Let's see if this helps. Oh, no, that's it. And you know what? I'm also having like a little bit of a weird time seeing it. So hopefully it shows up soon. All right. And there's a delay, of course, so that's what's happening. All right, so one of the things that when I first got started, like when I first wanted to get into, instructional design, I wasn't actually getting into instructional design in the beginning. I'm an immigrant kid, and we immigrated from Poland. So if you didn't know, that last name is actually mine, right? That Ding Long last name. And so, one of the things with being an immigrant kid and single mom, right, is that when you're when you're like when you come over, like your parents are like, you better go to school, right? And one of the things that's obviously very important to my mom was getting a university education. And university was like the pinnacle of like achievement, right? I mean, I don't know how it is for you guys, but still it's like, it's this unquestioned like golden, trophy thing, right? And so I thought that if I got a university education, this would be like, I'm making my mom proud. So the last year when I was supposed to be a high school teacher, that was my goal, high school teacher, and I was going to go for English and chemistry. That were going to be I know, total mix, right? But I'm a science nerd too at heart. And so last year my loan fell through. I had to go get a job at a call center. That's another story. You want to learn more about that story, go to elearningsecrets.com. I talk about it there. But you guys, this is kind of crazy, right? Because for the longest time, and I got my degrees in chemistry and English. And for the longest time as an adult, I felt, could I say this, like I was inadequate because I hadn't finished that certificate for teaching. I mean, I student taught, but I didn't complete it. It wasn't like I didn't get the cap and gown thing, and I didn't get that piece of paper that said those things. And for me, it felt like, am I not good enough? Like I felt like I needed that permission, which to me is totally crazy and weird, right? And so I'm thinking, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling inadequate? And then as I started talking to other people, I realized that other people were feeling the same way too. And I see people who have years of experience teaching, training, they in fact, they have more practical experience because let's say they were like a subject matter expert at an organization and then they transitioned into training because they were like the most enthusiastic, knowledgeable person and really related well to people. And then they went out and just started crafting resources, learning on the job. And for, 10, 15, 20 years, they've been doing that. And all of a sudden they hit the world of, let's say they want to get into instructional design or whatever, because the world is now moving full digital, right? And you're thinking, how the heck am I going to qualify my experience? I have to get permission, and they don't have to, but they feel like they need permission, and somebody else has to grant that permission, and that permission is only going to be given to them if they get a certificate in something that is accredited from an institution. And it's funny because the conversations that I'm having with people still bring up ADDIE like it's some sort of the pinnacle of development of instructional design development. And I was talking to somebody who was actually in the military, and when he got out of the military, he was learning for the military, and he got out of it. He said, why are civilians using ADDIE? ADDIE's for works for the military because it's so regimented and there's scale and everything, but the regular adult world could be using better systems and models. And for some reason, people are just attached to this waterfall thing and really ignoring the fact that we got to be a little bit more agile. And there's a clue in there for you, agile, right? Anyways, a lot of us develop software still, right? Not all of us, not 100% all of it, because we're doing different things. But it's archaic. So that's why I'm saying if you go back to some of those places where you're being taught, people are teaching you how to do instructional design. They've never actually designed courses other than academic courses for other people to do instructional design. That's not really, to me, good experience. And also they're using models that are outdated, and it's rare to see any academic place actually put out something that's progressive. They exist, but they are so freaking rare. So now what happens then is once you go through that world, and I've been through that world, right? And I've worked in that world as the developer as well. One of the things that happens is with this permission thing is that this kind of bleeds into other areas of your life. It's like the university needs to give me permission to be an instructional designer. Other people will accept that now. Okay, I've got permission. And now the next step, and I see people doing this, the next step is people now saying, you know, I can't innovate, I can't try stuff until there's a white paper on it, until somebody once again gives me permission to innovate. Get this. So I was talking to somebody yesterday, you know who you are, and they were saying how what they did is they shared Broken Coworker, which is the demo that I and Ryan, my partner, created for Articulate Storyline years ago, like a decade ago. And one of the things that she was trying to showcase was that this actual, that what happens with, let's say, with Broken Coworker is that nobody's explicitly actually showing you the learning outcomes. You know, it doesn't go, by the end of this module, you will know how to handle an office bully. By the end of this module, you will know, emotional intelligence. You'll be more, like, none of that stuff is in there. And there's a purpose. There's a reason for it, right? And so she was like, okay, look, this is working without it. How come we're all being taught how that learning objectives are a necessary part of engaging e-learning, right? And so the first thing that came back was, well, is there white papers that prove, that show the difference, or that this actually works? And I think, and this comes up all the time, right? I'm talking to people and they're like, yeah, but is there a white paper on the fact that, you know, better UI actually helps people learn better? Is there a white paper on certain colors that help people learn better? Is there a white paper on if people prefer stories to just reading text? Is there a white paper on if you should use a forward and back button? Listen, you guys, when some of the best games are developed, like the breakthrough games, nobody says, hey, dude, you know, that was good, but do you have a white paper to prove that what you did was actually good? That's basically what they're saying. And they're also saying, hey, do you have a white paper that gives me permission to model what you did? Because that's it, you guys. That's it. What we need to do in order to actually engage people and to craft experiences that are engaging and that move people towards action is to actually start modeling what works. Unabashedly, I want you to model what works. This is my tip for today, okay? Can you guys see that? Let's see if you can see it. Don't know what's happening with, you know, some of my streams here, but we'll see how this is working. All right, okay. So, model what works. Innovation is slow, right? Build on what works. So this is what I want you to do. When you go through Broken Coworker, right? When you go through the elearningsecrets.com, the interactive storytelling piece there, why did I put it out? Yes, one of the reasons I put it out is because I'm looking for people who realize that they've capped their basically their skill set at, you know, awesome instructional design, but now they're trying to get to the next level, which is to engage people emotionally, move them to behavior change. But there's another reason why I did it as well. I believe in interactive storytelling. I believe in this method of engaging people. And what I want you to do is, when I came up with my own demo, Broken Coworker, I stumbled upon something that I didn't even know it could be done. And it took me a while to even get that. I kept on going back to the whole old paradigms because I was like, this can't be it. This can't be working. When you go through that webinar, though, the point is that you understand what I'm doing, and then I want you to model it. Like, if this is a fit for what you want to accomplish with your audiences, go for it. Model it. I didn't come up with this stuff. I basically looked at the world, saw what was engaging, and I was like, I wonder if that's working. Didn't need a white paper to give me permission to go ahead, and I just said, I'm going to use that for my audience. I like this framework. I like this system. This is engaging me. I get some feedback, and then I launch it into the world, and I get feedback. And sometimes it's yucky. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. But I think that's one of the things we're all so afraid of, is that we're so afraid of getting the feedback that says, no, this isn't good enough. You're going to have to iterate on it. No white paper, no permission, no certificate is going to say that everything that you launch is going to be awesome the first time. To believe so is so ludicrous. And a lot of us are in this cycle, right? We launch things, We put them out there. We make big papers about how it's going to be, how we're going to plan it, pretending that we know what the future looks like, pretending we understand everything about the end users, instead of actually doing some good analysis, some thinking, some solid research, and then faster than slower saying, hey, this worked here, I like that, let's put this together, what do you guys think? Okay, let's prototype this. Go for it. Let's see what feedback we get. And there's a lot of people who are just stuck. They spend like months and months just prepping for that first step. They're planning for planning. And they're launching nothing that's actually useful. By the time they've planned it, they're so attached to those ideas that they came up with, which were, conceived out of some sort of like, we think we know how the world works, we think we know what the user's gonna need, but we're so invested into this right now that even if they come back with thinking that, with feedback that it's not what they needed or we need to tweak it, it's on them. It's their fault. They're lazy. They don't know how to learn. So we're going to come up with all these ideas, all these excuses, instead of saying, let's see what's working now. I really like that. Can we borrow that? Can we use that framework? Let's repurpose it for our people. Okay, what happened? All right, we didn't invest too much time into this. We're just going to test it again, see how it, tweak it, go forward. And then it becomes something that's actually useful for people. That's how game developers do it. They don't go, I wonder if somebody could give me permission, to craft a great story, craft a great game. Some of those indie developers, their first game is just knocks it out of the park. And the reason is because they're taking what they know, they're taking what they love, but they're building onto it like their own ideas. And that's what we're not talking about innovation. It's modeling. They're taking what's already working, but they're putting on their own context and their own ideas, and they're saying, hey, I could make this better with this. But they're not starting from scratch, and they're not asking anybody for permission. They just go and do what they feel is best based on their experience, and then listening to the audience and saying, okay, they like that, they didn't like that, let's incorporate that back. It's all about modeling, and that's what interactive storytelling is. We're just taking back some of the frameworks and systems that were initially used to teach people. Now we're taking it back from the entertainment industry, which has actually made like so many inroads with that stuff. We're borrowing that back. We're taking it back. And now incorporating it into our e-learning, our interactive experiences. So don't wait for white papers to prove to you that emotion is how people take action. Don't wait for papers to prove to you that Broken Coworker is a hit and engages people and it makes adults go through it multiple times, even if they don't have to. It's not even compliance. They just go through it because they enjoy it and they want to see how the consequences turn out and how their actions affect the outcome. That's one of the most powerful things. Don't wait for white papers to tell you that when people are in charge of that story, that it's engaging and they care about the outcomes. Don't wait for those white papers. Just actually look at the models that are working. What do you feel? What do the others around you feel? And say, I'm going to try this. Go for that. Just try that. It'll remove the procrastination for asking permission. It'll give you some serious confidence because now you actually have a project underneath your belt. You're not just pontificating about stuff that doesn't exist or, theories. That's what happens on LinkedIn. We're all talking about things like, well, this is what I'm going to use, or this sucks. And I'm like, okay, where's the project that you prove that this works? That's all I want to see is work. Speaking of which, so that was my thing, right? Really, that was the whole thing today is just stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for people to confirm that you're allowed to, model and innovate on what's already existing. Don't need that. Build something. It'll give you confidence. It'll give you confidence about what's working. It'll get you good at getting feedback because a lot of us are very bad at that, which is scary for people who develop learning for other people. And then the other thing is that I'll be launching a interview with one of my Success Case Stories students, Kimberly. We're talking later this afternoon. It'll be released this week. So she'll tell you about how the process worked for her interactive story, what she learned and some of her struggles and challenges, because this is wonderful stuff. And regardless of whether you're able to join our coaching program or not, I hope you do, because seriously, this is the kind of results you'll see. one of the things you'll hear is what it takes to become a real interactive storyteller and actually go all in like Kimberly. All right, you guys, so I gotta go. I got meetings, and chats. But seriously, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did find it useful and entertaining and enjoyable, I hope you share it and like it. That would be wonderful. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, then you'd better book a strategy session as well with me. I'll put a link underneath the video. It'll help me. There's questions after you book that session with me about what really you're going for. What's your goal? What's your vision? And then I can figure out if I can help you and if you'd be a good fit for our program. And we're looking for, I think, 6 more people to join us by the end of the month. It would be wonderful if one of those people was you. And if any questions, post them underneath the chat, even if you're watching later, because I check those out. So I hope this got you going. Hope you got excited. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye, friends.